happening, Magnus sites? Ooh, there was this clip going around Twitter last night with Zack Snyder being interviewed. What's going on here, man? What is going on here? I don't know what it is, but oh man, as a fan, I hope it is what we all hope it is. Let's see what Our Movie News has to say. Make sure you get over there and subscribe. Tell them Tyrone Magnus sent you. Let's do this reaction here. Let's get it.
Zack Snyder has confirmed some very exciting details about the Snyderverse poster and has discussed the idea of licensing the Snyderverse.
I just saw the small clip about obvious things about the poster and not so obvious
Zack
things.
Snyder was on another live stream last night, this time with Dave the Film Junkie, and they talked about the Snyderverse and Snyder's recent experience with Warner Brothers and how he has high praise for Warner Brothers chairmen Pamela Abdi and Mike DeLuca. But we start with Snyder talking about the sell the Snyderverse to Netflix movement. I'll play the clip and we can talk about it after.
I like that little whip she does.
Will Warner Brothers sell the Snyderverse to another studio and have them do it?
Well, like I said, the truth is, I mean, it'd be amazing if, you know, I could, like, whatever control over the IP exists, I don't, that's not my part, that's not my role. That's, as they say, above my pay grade, and I wish, but I would say that, look, I'll say one thing, Warner Brothers, as far as this screening event is concerned, have been incredible. This group now is beyond.
So they're being real good to him right now, huh? I foresee two things. Either they're being good to him because they don't want any more problems from his fans. They don't want any more pushback from his fans. They want him to exit quietly and there to be no backlash. Or I see something else. Everybody's buddy and chummy now, and we are eventually going to get the Snyderverse restored. And this is only the beginnings of his new great relationship with them. Please restore the Snyderverse. Flawless victory.
Kind and caring and personal, and
really,
it's been amazing.
I expect him to say
working
this.
with them, so I have no complaints.
So he doesn't state his opinion on the movement specifically, but instead says it's above his pay grade to make those decisions. He said, the truth is, that would be amazing, but whatever control over the IP exists, that's not my role. As they say, it's above my pay grade.
And I think most of us know that's above his pay grade. It's not his, he doesn't call the shots when it comes to selling IPs to other companies. Maybe he might talk about it. Hey, you know, I mean, he doesn't greenlight movies either. He has a plan, he goes in, he talks to these execs, like he's spoken before. They say yay or nay, or we like it, you know what I'm saying? Oh, well, okay, this caveat, or take this out, put this in, whatever. That's what she said. But, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But I'm sure, especially if he's been good if they're good to him now, he's been good with them, they know what will make him happy. And most importantly, what will make the fans happy. So, let's see where it goes, baby. Listen, guys, too, by the way, never mind, I'm not going to even say nothing. It was giving focus to something bad in the fandom. Not exactly in the fandom, but those who oppose our movement but I will not give them any shine in this video.
So he thinks the idea of licensing the Snyderverse to another studio would be amazing, but he then went on to really praise Warner Brothers for how they helped with this event,
Cool.
which means the company has positively changed since he last worked with them. Another thing he specifically mentioned towards the end of the stream was thanking chairmen of Warner Brothers Pictures Group, Pam Abdi and Mike DeLuca, for helping make the event possible, and also teased that it might mean something more in the future. Take a listen.
I mean, just to say one more time, that the event would not have happened at all. This event would not have happened at all if it wasn't for Pam and Mike. So just to say that those guys really were the ones that said, yes, we want to do it. I just want to.
That's a cool added layer to the full circle aspect also then.
I think it is. I think it is. It's I didn't, I just think that it's important to be said, so that's all.
Yeah.
And who knows what that means, for the future, but I just mean that, these are people that are reasonable and all that. But in the meantime, I am very much in the Rebel Moon business.
So the event would not have happened if it wasn't for
So that right there lets us know that he is very fully absorbed in Rebel Moon and putting out Rebel Moon right now. Just like I had talked about, he likes posts that are for restoring the Snyderverse, but he likes stuff that kind of talks about him having moved on to Rebel Moon. And you know what I mean? So it's like, I think he is involved in completing whatever is in front of him right now. That's what it feels like. But he would definitely finish his universe if given the opportunity to.
Abdi and DeLuca, and then he clearly said, who knows what that means for the future, and then said these are people that are reasonable. This is really important to note for a couple of reasons. The first is that to me, that sounds like he's saying, who knows if that means something for the future of the Snyderverse, but these are reasonable people.
Yeah.
So it's not like the old regime who want nothing to do with Snyder. Abdi and DeLuca are actually reasonable people who have been very helpful to Snyder. Another thing to note that is very exciting to mention is that when Abdi and DeLuca were temporarily put in charge of DC, whilst Zaslav looked for Walter Hamada's replacement back in October last year, The Hollywood Reporter claims that Abdi and DeLuca were actively looking for scripts for Man of Steel 2 with Henry Cavill and one more go-around with the Snyderverse heroes and actors in a Justice League 2. They also were the ones who allowed Henry Cavill to shoot a scene for Black Adam, as well as an extra scene for the Flash movie, which was reportedly taken out soon after by James Gunn, as it was going to set up a future that wasn't going to happen. So Abdi and DeLuca wanted to stick with the Snyderverse cast and wanted to create a Man of Steel 2 with Henry Cavill and a Justice League sequel with the Snyderverse cast returning. So for them to help Snyder with this event, and for Snyder to not only thank them and call them reasonable people, but also tease that it might mean something in the future, is really exciting for the fandom. And that's not the only thing Snyder talked about. They also talked about the poster that Snyder released the other day.
By the way, I don't understand. This is just a shoot back to this. When this came out, there were people that did reviews. I don't understand why people thought this. People thought that something, I guess, kind of freaky or weird was going to happen when he grabbed the hot dog. Like, what was he going to do? Put it in her mouth? Like, what? You know what I mean? Like, I remember seeing several videos where people... I wonder why people thought that. I just don't know why they... I don't know, like, certain movies from certain directors, you might expect that. But I don't know. I don't know. People are like, when I saw him grab that hot dog, I was kind of like, wait, where's this going? And I'm like, where did you think it was going to go? I personally didn't understand why he was grabbing the hot dog, but I didn't think it was going to go anywhere weird sexually. You know what I mean?
And here is what he said.
One of the first things was the fact that it's like, well, it's the Superman statue,
Sure.
that we saw that got destroyed in BVS, but
Sure.
it looks like it's rebuilt. That's the first thing that I noticed, which I thought was pretty fantastic. But
Right.
go ahead. What I mean.
Well, here's the thing.
Behind the thing here.
Like anything, I think it's too early for me to already decode it. That would be no fun. But I think there's a lot
This is the clip I saw.
obvious references in this. Simple but
Yeah.
obvious references inside of this image that we really had fun creating. And we could talk. I think that's the second stream where we can
Okay.
talk after the event.
All right.
Yeah, I wouldn't say like, oh, what? No, there's nothing in there.
What are you talking about?
What are you
I'm not looking at the hand. I'm not looking at, certain.
Look at any of that. No, I mean, look,
You don't do that stuff.
it's not super subtle, but it's also not super obvious at the same time. So.
See, there you go. I tried, guys. I tried.
I mean, look, the truth is, like, fans have never missed anything. I don't think there's any Easter eggs left that I have not, that someone hasn't touched.
So he confirms that there are references in this poster that he's not going to decode yet, but will after this SnyderCon event.
You know what I noticed too when Zach talks, he has to tread lightly. Look, I'm in the entertainment business as well as he is. He's far deeper in and higher up than I am. There are these NDAs where you cannot talk about stuff that you have to sign, man. And it's like your mind is always, when you are speaking about certain things, your mind is always searching for the appropriate answer. Not because you don't want to say it, it's because you don't want to breach your contracts and get fined or get in trouble or give out something you weren't supposed to give out. And I feel like I hear it. I hear it in his voice that just so much stuff he wants to tell us and say and just be 100% frank with, but he can't. You know what I'm saying? I can hear it in his voice. I could be wrong, but I don't think that I am. You know what I mean? But that comes with being a man in his position. There's certain things he can say and can't say, and especially before it's time. You get what I mean? So, that's why a lot of you guys are always like, yo, ask Zach, this, that. I kind of like the mystery at the same time, but I don't want to, even, hey, you can have a line of communication to someone, but it doesn't mean that, like just certain fans that I've met, that I've become cool with, or they have a line of communication to me, but they don't write me a lot about stuff. And they'll tell me, they'll say, listen, I don't really want to bother you too much about this, but hey, can you answer this question for me? Or what do you think it is? They don't, and it's good that they don't, because it would be a flood of questions about certain things, and I feel it's the same way with him. You don't want to harass him. The man's got so much on his plate. You know what I mean? This is a guy, if you think about it, directors at his level their creations, their movies can shift the whole tone, the whole direction of where entertainment goes in a specific genre for years, or create new genres or different. Like when I think about what, just heard Scarlett screaming downstairs playing Resident Evil 4. When I think of just what 300 did, and I talked to him about that, on my live stream when I interviewed him, where it was like, like your 300 movie spawned all these Spartan workouts and Spartan runs and just a whole new class of like Spartan, like just all this whole warrior mentality. What was the Spartan diet? How did they work out? How did they live? Just this whole mentality of the warrior. Like it's just so many things spawned just from his 300 movie being a hit. Like that made guys work out that never worked out before. But several other things and subcultures it's just amazing. These movies the importance of these movies sometimes and what they can do. So it's just interesting to have that much power as a creator, but also to be stifled as a creator legally and not be able to say the things you want to say and do what you want. Yeah, it's interesting. Maybe I will get to that type of position one day. Who knows? But it's very interesting.
Also confirming that all the references are not super subtle, but also not super obvious, and that there aren't any Easter eggs that fans haven't touched. So everything he puts into the poster has been decoded by fans. So why does he need to talk about it after the event? Why can't he talk about it before? That could be because it may spoil a certain announcement he wants to make at the Snyder Cut.
I thought that was real interesting when he was like, it's all been decoded by the fans. I'm like, wait a minute now. You're saying it's already been decoded by us? We decoded a whole lot of shit!
Event, or potentially after it. Clearly, he feels he can only talk about it after the event and not before, which is really exciting news because Snyder's breakdown of the poster had some really interesting theories involved, with the hand positioning now changed to indicate the 5 Snyderverse movies, and the other hand showing 3 have been made and the final 2 haven't. And now that Snyder has confirmed the poster has details and references in it that need to be decoded after the event, and fans have touched on every reference Snyder included, gives further hope that Snyder Queen's theory was true. And if it is true, then it means that he's referencing
Hey Snyder Queen!
And if he's teasing that, then the Snyderverse may actually be restored, or he may be confirming that he wants it to be restored, so is trying to hype up fans. This is still a theory right now, but the evidence for it seems to be getting stronger each day. It could also mean he's trying to build hype for the Restore the Snyderverse fandom to show the 2 reasonable chairmen of Warner Brothers Pictures that there is a lot of demand for Snyder to complete his story, and something should happen in the future about that. The main thing I think fans should take away from this interview is that he had multiple opportunities to say he's moved on, to explain that this isn't teasing more. He clearly knows what fans are thinking and how they are reacting to his comments and posts, as he said he's seen fans touching on every single thing he's teased in the poster. So he has been looking at the fandom's reaction, so he knows what fans think and how we think he may be teasing more. So he would have said something if we were getting ahead of ourselves or were completely wrong. But he didn't say anything about moving on.
That's what I feel like.
In fact, he said it would be amazing if the Snyderverse got licensed somewhere. He said he can't talk about the cryptic poster until SnyderCon, and he massively praised Abdi and DeLuca and teased that it could mean something in the future.
Here's the fact of the matter. Fans have always, I personally believe this and you've seen it, fans and the public has always, at a certain level, dictated where entertainment has gone. Not all the time, but I believe a lot of the times. They look at our reactions, they look at how we behave to certain things that they do. Also, they listen to us. I can't remember what I read, but I remember reading that, some of the best ideas in comic books, TV, movies, even music have come from the fans. Just something a fan said in a conversation that they overheard. Something that a fan typed. Something. And I think that we give them way more ideas than you think we do. I think we do. And this is the reason why something like this could definitely be pulled off. I'm telling you, don't count Netflix out and them appearing on there. You never know. Or this could be made through WB and put out. You never know.
Everything is going against the claim that Snyder has moved on. The argument that he's trying to hype up his events to sell tickets is now gone because the tickets sold out in 10 minutes and then he had the interview hours after it. So he could have said something last night, but he didn't. All he did was show his interest in continuing.
Oh, by the way, I did notice a few of you were like tweeting at Zach, like, yo, any way to get the man a ticket? Listen, it's okay. It's okay. If I don't get a ticket, I miss the event. It's okay. I want to be there. But if not, Zach knows that I would support from the sidelines. He knows if I can't make it there, if there's no way for me to make it there and watch all 3 of the events with you guys, you know what I mean? It's okay. If I could, that's great. If I can't, I can always work from the sidelines. I'm a team player. You know what I'm saying? She is losing her mind. She is screaming, losing her mind. He knows, you know what I'm saying, that T-Mag can support on his channel and I can support at an event. So it's whatever him and his team would ask of me. You get what I'm saying? That's how I roll with it. So it's okay, don't bother the man. You know what I'm saying? If he wants me to come out there, he'll let me know. He's like, yo, hey, do something on your channel? That's fine too. You get what I'm saying?
And just to talk about the ticket sales, in under 10 minutes, every single ticket for all 3 days sold out, meaning they raised over $100,000 for AFSP in less than 10 minutes, which would mean the Snyder fandom has raised over $1 million for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. That is an incredible achievement, which shows when fans use their passion and combine it with charity, amazing things can happen. Bringing it back to the Snyderverse news, Snyder is making it clear that he hasn't moved on. He's had plenty of opportunities to, but all he has is praise for it. So even if this doesn't mean the Snyderverse is going to be restored soon, at the very least, it shows that Snyder hasn't moved on. Maybe like Tyrone Magnus said, he has moved on to working on Rebel Moon, but if Warner Brothers contacted him and said they want to finish his vision, he would come back in a heartbeat. So he hasn't moved on in the sense of never wanting to complete his vision, but moved on in the sense that he's working on other projects because that's what directors do. He's not just going to sit around unemployed until they ask him to come back. So he's working on other projects, but he would always want to finish his DC story and hasn't lost hope that one day he could. That's what makes the most sense, a bit like what Henry Cavill did with Superman. He was Superman from 2013 to 2017. Then Warner Brothers didn't want him for the next 5 years, but he never gave up hope and always wanted to return, but in the meantime, he worked on other projects like The Witcher. The persistent demand fans had for Henry Cavill coming back as Superman was the reason he returned in Black Adam. And so when they called him to bring him back, he returned instantly for Black Adam and was ready to commit long-term to the role. Then, obviously, we knew what happened next, but I think that is the best comparison to make. Which is why I think it is so important to keep showing the demand. Sure, we may get told by so-called fans who want to control what others think to move on, but for me, as long as Snyder hasn't moved on, then I won't. If he says he thinks that ship has sailed and we should stop pushing for it, then I will. But Snyder isn't giving that indication. If anything, he's
and he never does. Good boy, move on. He never does say that, you know? I think if he has a great relationship with them right now, you would think that they would say, listen, can you kind of let them know to back off so that, you know, we can move forward and go our separate ways peacefully? You know what I mean? But he doesn't. So, that must mean that there is a chance of this whole universe being restored and him being able to finish his vision. Think about that for a second. Because I've spoken to people online about stuff, different YouTubers that I know, different actors, and you know, we have our conversations, and there's certain things where it's like, hey, you know, hey, can you make an announcement for this? Can you say this in your video? Can you do this? Can you do that? Can you know what I mean? I had a particular situation where I had to talk to this one guy, and I'm just like, it was like a bad situation. I was like, yo, man, what are you doing? You know, and he kind of figured out. He understood what he did wrong. You know, it wasn't even a video. I was like, yo, why did you do that? You know what I'm saying? It was something entertainment. It involved in entertainment. And as soon as he understood my point of view and where I was coming from, he took care of it. You see what I'm saying? So when you're close with people, you rub shoulders with all these people that you work with, you know, a favor can be done like that. He has not told us to stop hoping for the Snyderverse to be restored, sorry.
Fans up even more. So I think we have an exciting future still, and if you want the Snyderverse restored, then I think you should keep showing the demand. Personally, the sell ZSJL to Netflix hashtag purely means we want to see the Snyderverse restored, and we don't care where. Whether that be with Warner Brothers, or Netflix, or any other streaming platform or studio. As long as we see Snyder's story complete, and Snyder wants to do it, we don't care which studio makes it.
And that's the truth. I don't care what studio makes it. I don't care where you put it. As long as it's the same quality or better, I'm fine. And you let him do his vision, I'm fine with it.
All the hashtag is doing is showing that demand. So hopefully soon Snyder can shed more light on the event and his stance on the Snyderverse. So make sure to let me know what you think of Snyder's latest comments in the comments below. But that is all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe and turn on post notifications so you never miss a video. I hope to see you here again soon. So until then, have a great day. Bye.
Yeah, man, great video. Great video. I sat here and talked for 25 minutes on a 12-minute video. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Post comments down below. Let me know what you all thought. If you enjoyed my reaction and thoughts on this, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and share. 10 million subscribers. Hashtag restore the Snyderverse. She's down there screaming her ass off. Woo!